Finally, let's start. Hola, hello, bonjour, and namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Oizom product launch. We are super excited to have people from all across the world joining in. So, I would start with good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good night. I see people from all across the world right now. I have Sorakrich from Thailand. Hello, Sorakrich. Ali, who's from Egypt. Maya from Croatia. We missed you, but it's good to see you here, Maya. Marco all the way from Chile, Angelica all the way from Peru, and my dear friend Brett from South Africa. These are just some of the names that I was able to see out of the 250 participants who are currently live. Along with me, I have our product manager, Bhumik, who is also here and he's going to take us to the product launch. But because we see a lot of new names here as well, I would like to start by looking back into the history of the past 9 years at Oizom. Yes, we completed 9 years of Oizom 3 days back. So we are a 9-year-old company now. Feels pretty old now, to be honest. But so let's take a step back into the history of Oizom, where we started and what is all Oizom about. So Oizom as a company started with the simple idea of making environmental monitoring affordable, scalable, and easy to use for everyone across the world. We are a smart air quality monitoring solutions company that offers data-driven environmental solutions for better decision making. Using our sensor-based hardware, we monitor various environmental parameters related to air quality, noise, odor, weather, radiation, as well as several ambient parameters so that authorities, industries, and communities can take data-driven decisions. All our facilities are ISO 9001 and 14000 certified. All our products have the CE FCC certifications. In fact, even our electronics are ROHS and PTCRB compliant. We take pride when we say we are a Make in India company and we are recognized by the US EPA. Let's see what are our current offerings. So currently we have a hardware software ecosystem for ambient environmental monitoring with a range of more than 30 various environmental parameters like dust particles PM1, PM2.5, PM10, TSPs, polluting gases like SOx, NOx, CO, ozone, as well as odorful and toxic gases like ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, VOCs, mercaptans. We also do noise monitoring, solar radiation, UV, IR, and meteorological parameters like wind speed, wind direction, rainfall, temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, and a lot more. All of this is done for ambient monitoring and using various wired and wireless communication protocols. We send the data in real time to our data visualization and analytics platform. Can choose from a range of communication protocols like GSM, Wi-Fi, LoRa, Sigfox, NB-IoT, or wired communication protocols like Ethernet and Modbus to send data onto the Envizom platform. The Envizom is our proprietary data visualization and analytics platform that offers actionable alerts, insightful reports, predictive analytics, industrial automation using relay-based systems in the products, as well as if you want to display the data to the mass audience, you can show it through an LED display, TV, a web app, or a simple mobile application as well. This is what we've been doing currently, and with that, we cater to more than 70 countries with more than 3,000 plus installations. But now, as we take a leap forward towards making air quality more and more accurate, scalable, so that everyone can take decisions based on data, we have a new product that we launched today. I would like to now invite Bhumik, who's our product manager, to show us what him and his team has been working upon for the last few months and years onto the new product. With that, I'll join you maybe in a bit, but until then, I hand it over to the capable hands of Bhumik and his team. Over to you, Bhumik.
Hi everyone, great to see everyone joining from different parts of the world. So, the landscape of air quality is changing. As environmental challenges evolve, the need for smarter, faster, and more reliable air quality monitoring has never been greater. So, what are some challenges in environmental monitoring today? The first one is immobility and inflexibility. In the traditional air quality monitoring, these air samplers are often fixed in one place. It limits the ability to capture real time data across different locations. Industries that need to monitor air quality in various sites face logistical challenges. The second major challenge is complexity and the setup time. These conventional systems are cumbersome and require complex setups. It often takes several hours or even days to install and deploy. It delays the process of gathering crucial data, which is essential for timely decision making. We are now entering a new era in air quality monitoring. It is no longer bounded by location or complexity. It is time to embrace a solution that is portable, precise, and powerful. Presenting to you our new product.
The air we breathe is changing, and so must our approach. Efficiency remains a challenge in environmental monitoring, but it's time to reimagine the way forward in unimaginable ways. Introducing Pollusense. Portable, precise, powerful, quick setup, engineered for extremes, instant insights, charge on the go, detects what matters, power that lasts. One device with endless possibilities for every environment. Pollusense.
Wow, that was awesome. We need some claps here.
All right, so that was amazing. I'm sure you guys are as thrilled as we are. So, why Pollusense? Many of our partners and customers used to mount our existing products on their vehicles. Every few days, the existing products were moved at new locations. The other hand, for some customers used to carry 5 to 9 different handheld analyzers packed in one backpack. Polydron and Odosense were utilized on such remote locations because we have built that trust on data. Now, Polysense delivers instant, hassle free monitoring, perfect for on the go applications. Our users needed a portable solution that would eliminate the 48-hour sensor stabilization waiting time. They also wanted to avoid the logistical and installation challenges. Allow me to highlight the key features of Polysense. Our engineering team has worked hard to deliver precision, reliability, and convenience. Polysense is compact and lightweight. It is not only briefcase size, which makes it easy to carry, it is also you can navigate at a construction or industrial site or conduct a field survey. It has a durable enclosure case. It is completely weatherproof with an IP65 rating, rugged to withstand extreme conditions. It has improved battery life. Till now, we had up to 12 hours of battery backup as standard. With Polysense, the battery life is now upgraded up to 24 hours. We have our own patented e-breathing technology. It ensures higher data accuracy, offering you confidence in every reading. For gas monitoring, it has our standard 325 milliliter per air sampling, and for dust, 1 liter per minute sampling system. Since the sensors are not exposed directly to the atmosphere, it makes sure the data accuracy of the highest quality. Now, inside the Polysense, it has an inbuilt display, which means you don't have to rely on any external smart devices. Our customers for such mobile applications had to carry a tablet or a laptop to configure and set up the device. Now you can access it directly from the device itself. You can monitor environmental parameters continuously in real time with configurable intervals from 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes. It will send data to you as per your requirement. You can get the data without waiting for long hours to take the quick actions necessary. Polysense is completely network agnostic. It can support multiple networks like GSM, LTE, Wi Fi, LoRa, and Ethernet for seamless connectivity. So, depending on your requirement, the Polysense is ready for seamless connectivity. Polysense also has internal data storage capability. It can store up to 90 days of data and more with a 16 GB internal storage. If you want to run the device completely offline in case the network is not available or the internet connectivity is not allowed on site due to some security restrictions, or if the GSM network is patchy, in such cases, Pollusense will store the data internally for you to access it. And it can also send back the dataset payload according to the timestamps once the network is re-established. Now, highlighting some benefits of Pollusense. It is designed to simplify monitoring and empower decision making. Pollusense caters to multi-parameter monitoring. It can track up to 9 gases, noise parameters, PM1, PM2.5, PM10, PM100, with temperature, humidity, and pressure, for a comprehensive use in any environment. Your Pollusense can be completely modular. You can select the target parameters as per your requirement, and we will ship it accordingly. You can receive timely notifications via SMS and email to take necessary immediate actions based on your critical thresholds with Pollusense. Like all our products, the data from Pollusense can also be visualized and analyzed on Envizom, turning the raw data into actionable insights. The key benefit is that it is completely portable, easy to carry to remote locations, ensuring monitoring anywhere and everywhere you can go. Pollusense is quickly deployable for immediate use in any environment. It can take only 30 minutes for sensor stabilization. If the device was turned off for less than 24 hours, and if the device has been turned off for a long time, still it will only take 3 hours for sensor stabilization. So basically, you don't need to switch on the device for 24 to 48 hours prior to going on site. You can charge it on the way via Type C USB, even from the car, and it will be ready to use with accurate data. We have tested Pollusense in minus 20 degrees Celsius to over 50 degrees Celsius. It is proven to perform in all weather conditions with reliable performance. If it is mounted properly, it can also withstand rain, snow, dust, since the inlet and outlets are designed specifically to be downward facing. It will give you uninterrupted operation. The site personnel can place the Pollusense when the shift starts, and he or she doesn't have to go back in the evening. In fact, they can collect it the next day, and the data will still be collected without the external power supply plugged in for 24 hours. It is a complete technical powerhouse. It is powered by quad-core ARM Cortex processor. Earlier in our older versions, we used to have microcontroller-based systems, but now it's like a mini computer. It has 16 GB storage. It can store more than 90 days of data. Communication, we have GSM, LTE, Wi-Fi, LoRa, Ethernet, and satellite. We recently tested with SpaceX Starlink, and the successful connection and data payload was sent successfully over satellite communication. The weight is just 9 kilos with all parameters. If your parameters are less, it can be even lesser than that. And it is rugged with an all-weather case. Pollusense is enabled with Envizom, which can have smart alerts, real-time insights, and easy integration. Talking about integration, it also has APIs, MQTT, and all other IoT protocols ready. So, what sets Pollusense apart? It is portable yet powerful. It has a lightweight design with a range of customizable parameters. We now have faster sensor stabilization, quick and real-time data for all the metrics. And it is designed for extremes, rugged and reliable in any environment. We have precision at its core with OGS, Oizom gas sensors. The Oizom gas sensor delivers accurate, real-time measurements of low concentrations of various gases, ensuring the reliability in the harshest environments. It has proprietary technology, designed to monitor gases at ppm and ppb levels with unparalleled accuracy. It has real-time monitoring, it's capable of tracking point source gases continuously in real time. It has low noise design. Ultra low noise support electronics ensure accurate gas detection even at minimal concentrations. Compact and reliable. Each sensor is integrated into a robust metal casing for durability. It has multi-gas detection. It supports detection of a wide range of toxic gases such as ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, and much more. At Oizom, our calibration processes guarantee data accuracy and reliability. ensuring that Pollusense performs at the highest standards. Number one is laboratory calibration. Every sensor is calibrated at ISO IEC 17025 2017 certified labs using NIST traceable calibration gas standards. The second is co-location calibration. Post the lab calibration, the devices are placed adjacent to EPA designated federal equivalent matter FEM stations to ensure optimal quality. Third is the on site calibration. It can also be performed at the deployment site using standard gas cylinders or reference standards. And data consistency. Regular calibration ensures that all air quality data is accurate and reliable over time. For the use cases and applications part, I will hand over to Jainam. Thank you.
Well, before I jump to the use cases across industries, I just overheard from the team. Bhumik, your team's been behind me all the time. So apparently, guys, there is something even bigger after the product launch. So we are all awaiting to see what's that. So I request you to stay back a bit longer after this is done. There's something that Bhumik and his team are also cooking behind the scenes. So let's see what's that. But before that, let's focus on various use cases across industries. Pollusense is particularly a very special product because this has been developed based on the feedback of the last 9 years. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with partners, customers, end users with various ideas, suggestions, and bringing all of this back to the R&D team, product team is what brought Pollusense as we see today. So I'm just going to focus quickly on some of the major use cases. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg of various possibilities. One of the biggest challenges with stationary monitoring was that, a lot of times when there was a requirement for remote monitoring or mobile monitoring, our partners or the users would actually mount this on top of a Toyota Hilux. And I'm saying specifically Toyota Hilux because there are so many countries where I've seen an Odosense or a Polytron installed on top of a Toyota Hilux. So, or they would take it on a motorbike with a standee or a tripod just to set it up. And I think to solve all of that problems, we now have the Pollusense. Pollusense can cater to a wide range of applications and use cases like environmental audits, industries, wastewater treatment plants, mining operations, construction sites, and landfills. To make it easier for everyone to understand each and every use case, I thought I'll go by giving examples of what would be an ideal scenario for a Pollusense to be used. So let's start with the first one, environmental audits, environmental impact assessments. On an average, we get about 30 to 50 inquiries a month that just ask, can I use it for just 8 hours? Can I lease the unit for a week? Can I lease the unit for 2 months? Now, with the stationary monitor, of course, that's relatively a bit challenging because the sensor stabilization time is longer. It's relatively a unit that you would want to install on a single pole. But if you want to do an impact assessment study across an industry, you would probably need something that's more portable, more compact. Pollusense solves that problem. Environmental audits and impact assessment usually also happen at sites where there is literally nothing. It's a barren land where probably an industry could be built or probably a drilling site would be developed in the future. So you don't have power there, you don't have connectivity there. With Pollusense, you need neither of that. With its internal memory backup, you don't really need to worry about connectivity. And there's an inbuilt battery, which Bhumik just talked about. But another interesting feature, I think, is the Type C charging. So now I can use the same power bank that I used to charge my iPhone, and I can take it along just there, so it can run for a longer period of time. Very interestingly, the reports that are generated from the Pollusense are also based on the international standards. Some of the biggest international companies like WSP, SGS actually use the Oizom reports for their environmental impact assessments. So that makes your life super easy. Talking about industries, where reports and industries, of course, they go hand in hand. People who work in the industries, they can relate to this so well. Now, in industries, there are three major challenges. One is the periphery and the fence line monitoring. The second is the complaints from the communities that live in the surrounding area. And the third and the most crucial is, of course, the employee health and safety. Now, for a large industry, you would want to do monitoring at multiple locations, identify what are the key hotspots, the impact, how long does the impact go, and what are the steps that you can take to mitigate and solve this problem. With Pollusense, you could actually have a mobile monitoring across your industry, identify the key hotspots, and that is where you would then install your stationary monitoring equipments. This makes it relatively simpler to identify the key places for installation and then take mitigation actions. Similarly, when we talk about community challenges and complaints, how would I know that, okay, what is the problem? Is it dust? Is it odor? Okay, if it is odor, what gases is causing that odor? Because in order for me to mitigate that problem as an industry, I would need to pinpoint what is the challenge. So instead of waiting for calling a consultant, trying to do the studies, going back and forth, taking a lot of time, you could just take a Pollusense, identify what are the peaks, and take necessary actions. It could be a misting can and a fogger, or just spraying an odor neutralizer. All of that could be done in real time. So with Pollusense, we really envision to reduce the problem to action time. When we talk about problems and complaints, you have to speak about wastewater treatment plants. You know that smell of rotten eggs that you get a lot of times when you're around the wastewater treatment plants? That's your hydrogen sulfide. Now, there are several reasons for odor nuisance around and at the wastewater treatment plants. It could be something as simple as poor storage facilities at your sewerage tanks, to lack of functioning or improper functioning of your aeration tanks, or just a simple process level development that you would need to do. Simple maintenance could actually solve that problem. But the challenge is a lot of times we don't really identify or know what is the problem. So the root cause analysis is something which is very essential and crucial for wastewater treatment plants. Now, for larger wastewater treatment plants, of course, a peripheral monitoring works best. For the micro STPs and ETPs, where you would want to set up, let's say, only 3 or 4 odor monitors, you would actually need to identify where exactly is the problem happening and how can I take actions immediately to prevent the odor emissions. And this is where Pollusense comes in handy. You could just leave one of the Pollusense tied to one of your aeration tanks right next to it to identify what is the impact, what is causing the problems. And with that data, you could actually take actions. Similarly, for those quarterly reports that you have to submit to the Ministry of Water, this comes in handy because if you have installed a Pollusense, you could actually get the data points and submit those reports directly. So your DPRs become really very simple. I think this is one of the most fascinating use cases is mining. I think there was one of our attendees who was also asking about can it be used for underground mines. Surprisingly, a lot of influence for Pollusense actually goes to the mining industries. I have been fortunate enough to go to one of the deepest mining sites in the world, and it takes 45 minutes to go 4 kilometers below the ground. While in that lift, I happened to chit chat with one of the gentlemen who was also a safety officer there. He was carrying a handheld sensor with 8 or 10 cartridges and a backpack full of handheld sensors. Upon talking to him, I realized that, oh, he would go all the way below the ground, take various measurements, write it on his notepad, come all the way up and put all of those entries in an Excel sheet. This is tiresome. Now add 35-40 degrees Celsius plus the pressure that you feel underground. This job is really cumbersome. And with Polysense, all of this becomes so much more simpler. Now, all the gentleman has to do is simply take this Polysense with him, hold it tight, go all the way down into the lift, leave it at the next drilling site or at the next maintenance site, get along with his day. When he's coming back up, he just has to pick up the suitcase. The data has been recorded. It doesn't need connectivity. As soon as he reaches the ground, he can immediately access the data on the Polysense itself, or even on the Envizom because it would have gotten connectivity by then. If you ever want to do a road trip and not reach anywhere, try visiting an open pit mine. I have spent 3 hours and still I was around the mining site. That's how big open pit mines are. And the challenges there are fourfold because you don't know what's happening. They work in so many different phases and different ways. If there is drilling and blasting happening at phase one, then probably there is something happening at phase two. Now, in order for me to pinpoint what is the exact source of vibration, noise, and dust, I would probably need much more accurate data on where it is pinpointed at, what is the exact source. With Polysense, I could just sit in my pickup, carry this suitcase, leave it at location A for like say 4 hours, move to location B for another 5 hours, and at the end of my shift, I know where the exact problem lies and I can take actions nearby. Because you need to remember, these large open pit mining sites and underground mining sites are very crucial for our economy. But at the same time, we have really hardworking miners and workers who are working this continuously to make sure that we get all the minerals that we use. So mining Pollusense makes the perfect sense for mining industries. From mining to construction sites, dust, vibration, noise, of course, you have so many industries that are now getting into construction activities. And I could talk to anyone from you here. I know the one complaint that is common is, Jainam, you have no idea how crazy it is with all the construction happening in the city. This is a problem common in India, London, Paris, UK, or you talk to or people down south in Chile or Peru. Construction is something which is common all across because urbanization, rapid industrialization that's happening all around. And realtors, construction companies, they really want to take steps to mitigate the problem of dust, vibration, and noise. But in order for them to understand it better, it's very crucial they identify what is exactly causing the problems. With the Pollusense, they could actually monitor noise, vibration, and dust in real time. And then it could help them identify, okay, is my fogger system working well? Is my misting cannon working fine? Installing that big green net, does it actually make an impact other than just saving it from pigeons? What are the impacts? How can I follow the compliance and environmental regulations? A simple Pollusense installed at a site can make your life so much more easier. It can actually give you an impact benefit analysis of your fog or misting cannon systems, as well as if you are under the threshold and compliance for your vibration and noise levels as well. From construction sites, we go to landfill sites. While talking about rapid industrialization and urbanization, our landfill sites have now become dumping sites. There are so many landfills that I visited in the past 5 years, which started as a dumping site, but with more and more waste being collected, they're now becoming a landfill, mountains of waste. And the problem when you have so much waste collected at one single place is the emission pockets. If you go to several landfill sites, you will see that there is something called, they have this CH4 emission hotspot or carbon emission hotspot or chlorine emission hotspots. Now, what exactly happens at these places? That there is so much waste that is collected here. On top of that, add the scorching heat of the sun. This causes the reaction that leads to all of these emission pockets. Now, in order for me to identify what are the sources of these pockets inside my landfill site or my dumping site, I need to do mobile monitoring across a landfill site. And landfill sites are huge. If you ever want to know how big a landfill site is, we have one Asia's fourth largest dumping site here in India, and you can see it from like 5 kilometers away. Its peripheral monitoring is 15 kilometers square area. So in order for us to do that 15 kilometers square area, we actually had to go to so many places to actually just identify what are the sources. And with again urbanization, if you ask someone maybe like 20 years ago, a dumping site was away from the city. The dumping site stayed there, the landfill site stayed there, but we expanded so much that now it's become a part of the city, which increases the environmental and the health risk for all the citizens. So it is very crucial for us to identify what are the exert sources. And Pollusense works in perfectly well. Your safety manager or your plant manager can just walk with a suitcase at different locations, identify the key hotspots, and based on that, if there is a requirement for stationary monitoring or for setting up advanced exhaust systems, they could actually be done based on data. And as I say, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The possibilities with Pollusense are endless. We started with ambient monitoring. We're now stepping into mobile monitoring. And as we say, sky is the limit. We are here to make every breath count. A very interesting thing that I have to say to all of you is that this product is ready. And today, in fact, we commercialize it with accepting orders from today on. So in case you would be interested to getting one of the products, feel free to drop us an email on hello@oizom.com or fill up the request for quote on the Oizom website. With that, can we have some drum rolls as I invite Bhumik back again for the new product that he's going to talk about and something new that they want to really share with us. So I'll hand it back, passing the ball back and forth back to Bhumik. Bhumik, what did you want to tell us? What is your team hiding from us? Show us.
Thanks, Jainam. So we did mention Envizom a couple of times, and for the audience here who do not know what Envizom is, it is our intelligent cloud platform designed for real-time data. insightful monitoring and analytics for air quality. Powered by Oizom's advanced environmental data interpretation engine, Envizom can gather data from environmental monitoring stations and present it through an interactive visualization. It is rich in diverse formats and geo-mapped with device locations, all secured and encrypted. It has customizable dashboard, automated reports, data analytics, environmental widgets, smart notifications, and process automation. Welcome to Envizom 2.0. We are just going to launch the new version of our software. All right. Okay, so that was incredible. With Envizom 2.0, we will now see some key features. We now have all new forecast feature. Envizom can now predict and forecast environmental data for the next 24 hours. The forecasting model runs on generative pre-trained time series with custom transformer model. Our model utilizes past 1 week's hourly data to further fine-tune the prediction. We are now launching the all-new heat maps model. We use the model which utilizes a combination of meteorological factors, specifically wind speed, wind direction, temperature, and humidity, to enhance the accuracy of our predictions. The unique aspect of our method involves employing a custom inverse distance weighting algorithm, IDW, for generating accurate heat maps. It is a deterministic interpolation method that estimates the value of a point based on the values of nearby points. So, if you have a number of devices installed over an industrial area or a residential area, through various color codes on the map, you can visualize the pollution and emission trends at different sources and gather meaningful data insights. We have now integrated vibration monitoring sensors with Envizom. It can measure in gravitational force per time in different axes, peak particle velocity per time, peak vibration acceleration per time, and frequency per time. We have also tested class 1 noise, evaporation sensor, lightning sensor, soil parameter sensors, and this all will be live soon. There's more than what meets the UI. Envizom processes data points every 2 minutes of over 3,000 devices. That's 2.16 million data points daily and 788 million data points yearly. Oizom Cloud is now faster than ever with evolving needs, yet it remains secure and encrypted. Envizom can also be deployed on your local on-premise server. Allow me to hand over back to Jainam for the closing note, and we will take up some Q&A after it. Thanks.
Well, that came in as a surprise. I didn't know. This discussion with me and the product team has been happening for such a long time that hey, what's happening with Envizom 2.0? Let's and what's happening with Envizom 2.0 back and forth for so long. But I'm so glad to see it's finally here. So this was definitely worth the wait. Oh my god, that video. Wow, that was something, wasn't it? Anyway, before we wrap up this today's session, I would really want to take as many questions and answers as possible. So we've been trying to answer as many as possible, but I'll still take up the ones that I see which are really the important ones. And in case you didn't realize that is a question, it can pop up again. So I'll just take up quick questions that I see here open with me on the chat box. So I think one is Bahar says that in order to bring down the pollutions down a mine, you need ATEX certification in Europe at the very least. Do you have it? Bahar, ATEX certifications, as per our analysis, is required especially for coal mines or explosive activities. But if you're looking at something as simple as gold, platinum, rhodium, probably an ATEX is not a mandate. So I think currently this product is more focused for such applications. Then there is another question. Will Envizom software be compatible with other air monitoring devices? Yes, the Envizom is sensor agnostic. So of course you can use the Oizom stations there, but in case you have third-party stations or if your city has third-party equipments, they can also be integrated into the Envizom platform. All we would request is for you to put us in touch with whoever the technical team from the other sensor provider is, and it can be used. Is it possible to have the reports or displays in different languages? Yes, Luis, we currently have around 8 languages enabled in the Envizom, which includes English, Arabic, Spanish, French, Polish, Ukrainian, and we're Armenian, and we keep on adding more and more languages. So if you have us, and Portuguese as well, in fact. But in case you need any additional languages, we'll be more than happy to add. It can be done. We might require your help with a little bit of translation here and there, but otherwise we can 100% offer it. There's another question which is, can you show the setup for noise measurements, as I'm unsure whether this would be used as class 1. So as Bhumik mentioned, the class 1 noise sensoring offering is currently for our flagship products or the previous flagship products. I hope Pollusense takes that over, which is the Polydrone, Odosense, Weathercom, and Dustroid, where we can integrate third-party class 1 sensors. For the Pollusense, currently we are just offering class 2 noise sensors. Uh, at at a single time, how many parameters can this instrument measure? Well, it can measure 9 gases, 4 types of particulates, plus noise levels, temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure. Do your gas sensors account for temperature compensation? Yes, with extensive amount of calibration that Bhumik spoke about. And again, the co-location calibration that we've done across multiple climatic conditions all across the world, we've developed very strong machine learning based AI algorithms which can apply the necessary correction compensation algorithms on the systems so that it can acclimatize and offer much more accurate data. Can we charge the equipment with a solar charger? Yes, 100%. It can also be charged using a solar charger. However, with Pollusense, I don't really think, the idea is to make it portable and compact. But of course, if you want to use a solar charger, you can always do that. But for short-term monitoring, I think the battery works perfectly fine. Uh, what is the sensor estimated lifetime per guest? Can the user exchange them on premises or do they need them to ship them back for maintenance and calibration in specific periods? Well, all our products that we've built until today have been designed keeping in mind that, oh, the world is a big place. There are polydrones and sensors installed in places that I really wish I can visit someday, including the beautiful scenic beaches of Guadalupe to the small island of St. Kitty and Nevis. So yes, everything can be done. Maintenance, troubleshooting, sensor replacement can be done on site. We of course recommend and we strongly advise you to have a remote support from our partners who are present in more than 70 countries. So in case you would want an equipment in your country, we have a very strong partner network and they'll be more than happy to assist you with everything that's required in your country. There's a question from Poland that says, do you have a standard stand to install the unit? Well, it can be installed on a standard tripod, which is easily available on Amazon. I think and Amazon is pretty much everywhere, right? Can we configure the communication through an APN? Yes, it can be configured using an APN as well. Uh, What are some other questions? I'm just trying to squeeze in as many questions as we can. Is it possible to measure PM10, 2.5 NO2, SO2, and CO simultaneously? Yes, also it's possible to monitor all of those simultaneously. Is there any ideal recommendation distance between devices, Mr. Hitendra? The only way to understand is that, see, ideally as per the US EPA guidelines you need one every 500 meters, but then we also need to keep into the consideration that there might be a major source of pollution in between or a major blockage between that. Then of course we would need much more stations, because air is very dynamic. In fact, the air that two people are breathing in the same room is also very different, but that's in microdecimal points. So for an overall average, if there is not major blockage or source of pollution in between, for 500 meter square area it should be definitely perfect. Sheriff, as the device work for 50, is it suitable for hot and humid climate of Saudi Arabia? Well, when we did our first trials, we shipped our units before launching it commercially with our partners to various countries. Saudi Arabia was one of them. So we did a test in Saudi Arabia, in Chile, in Indonesia, and several other countries. So yes, it works perfectly fine in Saudi Arabia. In fact, Oizom has more than 150 deployments just across the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. 90 days of data storage on what interval? 90 days of data storage, or 90 days of data storage with every 5-minute interval. Does it have an additional battery charger? Well, it's your type C charger, so you can use your iPhone charger to charge the Pollusense if you want one. Does it work on solar charger? I think that was answered. Does it have an online sensor calibration facility or sensor replacement? In Saudi Arabia, you don't need to worry about it because we have a very strong team that can help you with all of those requirements. Um, Cells also ask, can the equipment monitor air quality during 7 consecutive days, 24 hours a day? Yes, if you if you keep it powered, I think that should be fine. There should be no problems with that. Uh, Yasmina, this one is not yet ATEX approved, but it can be used for other indicative and regulatory purposes. Fanis, is there a link with your global support, please? I think I'll drop in once again our email ID, because I think there are multiple people asking the same question. So I'm going to drop in again in the chat box. For pricing, please drop us an email at hello@oizom.com for any inquiries, queries, questions that you may have. And in case you want us to, you want a product and you want to fill up a form, we have also put in the link for our request for quote as well. Mulenga asks, can we change the units based on the preference? Yes, you can choose Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, ppm, ppb, the type of unit that you want, as well as you can choose the parameters. So we are sensor agnostic, platform agnostic, communication agnostic. You can pick and choose what suits your needs the best. I think we've been able to answer most of the questions. Well, this, in case you would want to share this with your customers, partners, team members as well, this is also available on YouTube. The launch was also live streamed on YouTube, so you can find it on the Oizom YouTube channel. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the product launch. This has been incredible. 250 people from all across the world. It has been truly a delight. And I think this is the beginning as we go onwards and upwards. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, it has been a pleasure.